it's not Lauren.
In mid-March 2019, several law enforcement agencies and search and rescue teams were in the area again.
They had a total of 31 searchers on the ground along with 12 canines. They searched an additional 660 acres out there, unfortunately, with no results.
Sheriff Lake told Dateline, one person she was with told us that they had been in the area reportedly fishing, saying their car had run off the road. He said he then told her he was going to walk to his house to get a vehicle to get them out of the mud, but then she took off running into the woods.
The sheriff's office does not have any information that leads investigators to believe someone Lauren was with had anything to do with her disappearance.
April 1st, 2019. Despite the search efforts, investigators say they are no closer to finding Lauren.
We did locate a shoe that we weren't sure was hers, but later we were able to determine it was hers. This is according to Sheriff Lake. He added that since it is such a heavily wooded area, no footprints were found around the shoe.
Since then, we have searched approximately 2,000 acres of heavily wooded terrain and open fields with ground searches and have covered approximately 9,000 acres with drones and helicopters.
Sheriff Lake said authorities believe the 911 call Lauren placed only ended because Lauren's cell phone battery died.
We have nothing to indicate foul play is involved, Sheriff Lake told Dateline. But again, just like anyone being a suspect, we haven't ruled anything out.
Her bank accounts and phone records have remained untouched. Her mother, Tori, is clinging to hope that her daughter is still alive.
Tori told Dateline, she is so loved by so many people. There were 3 prayer rituals in 3 different cities for her from friends and relatives. There are people all over the world praying for her return.
This has to speak on her character. She's such a beautiful person inside and out. Tori added that Lauren's 33rd birthday is coming up on April 17th. I've already been looking at the calendar and dreading it, Tori said. We would always talk on her birthday.
Lauren's 3 children, aged 3, 5, and 9 at the time of her disappearance, are living with Tori, her mom, in Fort Worth, Texas.
April 14th, 2019. Chief Deputy John DePresca said this past week that his office continues to receive leads and tips from the community in the disappearance of Lauren.
Investigators also are trying to search more of the Sabine River area where Lauren was that day. But rain is getting in the way, he said.
There are still some areas out there that are covered in water, and every time we get ready to search those specific areas, unfortunately, we wind up with another inch or 2 of rain.
We haven't finished searching yet, but we're trying to wait until that water recedes so we can actually get in there.
April 17th, Lauren's 33rd birthday.
June 3rd, 2019. Sheriff Lake says wet conditions delayed several search efforts throughout February and March. A 2-day search eventually covered an additional 1,190 acres.
Sheriff Lake says there are no official suspects in the case, but there are persons of interest who have been interviewed. Sheriff Lake says they are the last people who saw Lauren alive. He adds at least 1 polygraph has also been performed.
From what we have right now, there's nothing that directly points to foul play being involved. But I am suspicious. Yeah, absolutely, I'm suspicious. It's hard to understand how somebody can just disappear.
July 17th, 2019, 6 months out. Lauren's mom is frustrated with the investigation. There are a lot of questions surrounding her disappearance.
And here's her mom on CBS 19.
I have asked at least 5 times for them to have another search team come in. I asked for the Texas EQU search team. According to a lady who's been helping me, she's spoken with the landowners, and the landowners say that they would have gladly helped even with the search, that they had no problem with people searching the land.
Regarding the 911 tape, Lauren's mom claimed Lauren said she was being shot at, and she was running fast.
Her mom said at the end of the call it was almost like someone had startled her. It was like gasp, and then her phone went dead.
CBS 19 requested a copy of the 911 tapes. However, the Panola County Sheriff's Office declined the release, saying it can be used as evidence later in the investigation.
Regarding searching the property for Lauren, Sheriff Lake explained, the entire area is private property. Even where the car was located is on private property. We have not had an issue with the landowners with law enforcement search teams being on those properties, but they are concerned about people they don't know being there.
Sheriff Lake again confirmed there was paint transfer between the vehicles. He said Lauren and a man were in her car when it went off into the ditch.
The man told her to stay with the car as he was going to walk to his property to get his car and chains to pull it out. Sheriff Lake says when deputies pulled up to his house, they found him doing just that.
At this point, here's Lauren's
mom's belief as to what happened to her.
I don't know what happened to her. I honestly, in my personal opinion, think that there's a ring of several things going on. I think there's like car theft, drug trafficking, and sex trafficking, and I think it's huge.
Lauren's mom said when they brought Lauren's car home, her kids got excited, and they thought Mom was home. I had to tell them no. Remember, Mom's not here. Remember, we can't find her, and they're looking. They're still looking for her.
June 19th, 2019, a NamUs case was created.
February 12th, 2020, 1 year and 1 month after Lauren's disappearance, The sheriff's office completed a DNA profile with help from Lauren's family and has gotten that information entered into national databases.
Sheriff Lake said, "That helps if remains are found anywhere in the nation, that now we have the DNA profile to go with the missing persons case."
Lauren's dad, G.W. Colvin, said, "Obviously, not knowing is difficult in this situation. It's especially difficult for Lauren's 3 children, now ages 4, 6, and 10.
It's really difficult to try and explain to them exactly what is going on and what the situation is," he said.
Sheriff Lake said the scant evidence they've been able to gather has not pointed to foul play, although that doesn't mean a crime wasn't
committed. He also said they don't know if Lauren stayed in those woods or found a road and left the area. We don't know for sure that she didn't make it to the road and get a ride.
We can speculate, but it's not our job to speculate. We're fact finders, and so we have not collected any evidence to make us confirm that foul play is involved. Could there be foul play involved? Absolutely. And that's why we're so concerned about preserving if we find a crime scene.
But Lake said he does not believe that Lauren would decide to disappear and start a new life, because he does not think she would have abandoned her children.
He also said his department does not plan to release the evidence it has collected, such as the 911 call.
We've not released that to the public because it is evidence, and we don't know if we have a crime or not, Lake said. We've been asked numerous times to release the 911 call, and we're not going to do that. Is this because there's something to hide?
No, it's not because there's something to hide. It's because that's one of the only pieces of evidence that we have.
Lake said speculation that gunfire can be heard on the call, or that Lauren got shot while calling 911 is wrong.
That's not the 911 call that I listened to, Lake said. I don't believe that happened. Do I believe that she was in distress? Absolutely.
It was also stated in the official statement released by the family representative Joey Ortega that according to local authorities, it would seem that what was heard did not seem to make sense. And given witness statements that she may have been under the influence of unknown narcotics, authorities weren't sure if what they heard reflected that of a woman in a lucid state of mind or not.
Joey Ortega is a California-based freelance investigative reporter with a background in investigation and intelligence analysis. He is working with Lauren's family on the investigation and acting as their spokesperson.
Mr. Ortega said a lot of the work he's done has been trying to sift through the information that's come in and develop new leads, as well as to clarify conflicting information or statements.
It opened the door to realizing that some people that were initially glossed over might have merited further scrutiny and certain alibis re-examined, he said, noting that the information he gets is passed on to the sheriff's office.
Mr. Ortega is hopeful that Lauren can be found. I have no qualms in saying that there's not anything to say, that I know statistically these things don't always end with the way we would want them, especially as parents.
But setting aside all of the rumors and all the conjecture and innuendo, and looking at some of the leads that they have gone through and some of the new leads that I had developed, not only am I hopeful personally that we can find resolution here, but that there's nothing to say that finding her alive is an impossibility. I have not by no means given up on that.
The unfortunate part about this is we get really far-fetched tips that result from that, Lake said. But we have to check into them, so we're exhausting a lot of time and resources looking into things that we know are very far-fetched.
Ortega said he hopes he can help recenter the investigation after all that chaos, making sure that the Colvin family and the sheriff's office work together.
Baseless theories and speculation push this chaos to places where it need not be, Ortega said.
But a lot of times in a lot of these cases, where there's sort of a lot of speculation and rumor and other stuff, I feel like sometimes it's clear that law enforcement sometimes can have a hand in preventing that too, by not always holding everything so close to the vest, letting some information out to allow people to understand what law enforcement is doing.
They answer to the public, and most important, they answer to the family.
G.W. Colvin, Lauren's dad, said, "Really, there's not anything other than that. We've really requested that if anybody has any bit of information, whether they think it's relevant or not, they could come forward and submit that to Sheriff Lake and his team so it can be investigated."
Of course, the prayers that have been offered up thus far, and any in the future, they have been appreciated and will be appreciated. We've felt support from the community, and we are very appreciative of everything that has been done locally and by local law enforcement to help locate our daughter.
June 15, 2020. From the official statement released by the family representative Joey Ortega, a $10,000 reward was established and an anonymous tip line. And here's another report from the Bring Lauren Thompson official Facebook page.
Along with Lauren's father, G.W. Colvin, Ortega spent some time in Beckville, Texas to meet with various witnesses and tipsters, walk the scene, and to meet with Texas Rangers and Sheriff Lake, who agreed to allow Ortega to hear the 911 call and to look at various other pieces of physical and digital evidence in order to better understand the efforts made to date and the many challenges faced, as well as offer his thoughts based on his own digital and forensic expertise.
After the pivotal meeting, Ortega also agreed that the 911 call ought not to be released yet. He agrees the recording contains valuable elements that may help later in the investigation. This includes references to landmarks, people, and events. The added insight from that visit also gave the Colvins and Ortega added focus and clarity about where and who to direct their focus, and also sharpen crime reconstruction efforts currently being done.
Through a reanalysis of ping data, statements in the recording timestamps, Lauren's phone and online activity, as well as accounts from some on the scene during initial search efforts, Ortega formed and presented Sheriff Lake with a case for a probable kidnapping.
Through interviews of locals and tipsters, Ortega was also able to uncover false or misleading statements by some who were questioned when the case began. This information was also presented to authorities for further follow-up. Though circumstantial, the case for kidnapping that has recently formed crime reconstruction seems to indicate quite compelling.
The case for and the supporting crime reconstruction for a probable kidnapping is currently being presented to the FBI by Sheriff Lake, along with his own supporting findings.
And now from her mom's Facebook page, which he uses to bring awareness to other missing person cases.
October 4th, 2020. Thank you for not forgetting about her. There are so many missing people, and it seems the ones missing longer get forgotten because it's not current.
I know I've had to step back during virtual learning with the kids, but they will hopefully be back in school by the end of the month where I can have time to work on it. God bless you all for your continued prayers and support.
And then, October 8th, 2020. We are never going to give up on you, Lauren. We will fight to the end. Bring Lauren Thompson home.
So now let's recap. Lauren, the mother of 3 small children, called 911 on the afternoon of January 10th in distress, saying she was in a wooded area and thought someone was chasing her.
But her cell phone died during that call. Numerous widespread law enforcement searches of the woods where she was last reported to have been have not led to finding Lauren.
Her friend Elizabeth stated she felt something was off in the days before Lauren's disappearance. Was there trouble due to her lifestyle choices?
Where was Lauren prior to her disappearance that day? What had she been doing?
Did she hit her head when the car went in the ditch, or when the vehicles exchanged paint? A head injury could cause erratic behavior, as well as if she were under the influence.
One person she was with told us they had been in the area, reportedly fishing, Sheriff Lake said. Were there fishing rods in the car?
Wouldn't it help to allow Texas EquiSearch, family, friends, and the community to search the property at this point? It appears the landowners are willing to cooperate.
Bring Lauren Thompson Home Facebook page was created May 27th, 2020. It has 2,669 followers.
There is a disclaimer on this page dated May 31st. Bring Lauren Thompson Home is an organization registered in the state of Texas by the Colvin family.
Any statements or claims made by any third parties on this page represents their own thoughts and opinions and does not necessarily represent those of Bring Lauren Thompson Home. This is according to the Colvin family or their spokesperson, Joey Ortega.
This website was created solely for the purposes of obtaining information helpful to the investigation leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance of Lauren Thompson.
Lauren has a personal Facebook with 520 friends. Anyone with information can contact the anonymous tip line at 888-411-4491 or contact the Panola County Sheriff's Office at 903-693-0333.